And we are live mga Kapex Pro. Magandang hapon once again sa ating mga viewers from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and up to the different areas and countries in the world. So maraming salamat na naman po. It's Friday time once again. Nagkasama-sama na naman pumuli tayo sa isa na namang makabuluhan, masaya at exciting na episode ng ating kwentuhang cybersecurity. So bago kita ipakilala later on, Miss Cecile, kakamustahin kita, kamusta naman po ang buhay cybersecurity natin for the last week? And
I'm
welcome po
good.
pala officially to Kwentuang Cybersecurity.
Thank you, Miss Eileen. I'm good. Still doing the task of learning more and more every day about cybersecurity because this is a non-stop process to learn and
Correct po.
adapt to new things. Yes.
So ano po, anong pakiramdam na before you were monitoring, of course, watching KC as one of the members, tapos ngayon kayo na ang isa sa mga highlights of our Kwentuang Cybersecurity. So what would be the feeling right now?
Actually, I am thankful and honored to be given this particular opportunity to share to your audience, to your viewers, what little things I know about the topic I will share today. And hopefully, there'll be a lot of opportunities for us to come together and then share what we can to our students to our members, so that they keep on pursuing and still um, making it sure that they are cyber safe, not only themselves, but also their loved ones, their organization in particular. Because
Especially the family.
yes, giving them little information, um, parang bits and pieces of information would be a lot of help to them. Kasi syempre, they cannot swallow big chunk of knowledge. So yung practice natin sa kwentuhang cybersecurity is a big help. Kasi once you open a little topic that could spark their interest, could go a long way. So yun
Definitely
ang,
po. Well
oo,
said po.
yun ang magandang
Okay po.
maganda dito sa usapang PixPro, di ba? We get to share bits and pieces of information na which will be their seed to grow later on to become a better cyber security professional.
Definitely po. And it doesn't take a certain level of degree, a certain level of being a professional for you to be able to get to understand kung ano yung concept of cybersecurity kasi pagdating natin dito sa PixPro, we are a great equalizer in terms of spreading cybersecurity awareness and of course education to our communities. So bago tayo pumunta sa exciting part, okay, wala pa tayo sa exciting part, puntahan po muna natin ang ating mga online audiences na ngayon ay lumalaki at dumarami pa. Starting off with our president from PixPro Aurora Chapter, Sir Sherwin Gloriosa and your team. Magandang hapon po sa inyo. From Kyle Rose Buado, good afternoon po from Aurora State College of Technology, ASCOT. O, isa to sa mga ano natin, masusugid, masisipag at very passionate na alliance natin. And UMAC actually is on board towards becoming one of our alliance partner here in PixPro. So excited din kami na makakita dito ng UMAC students, the alumni of course, kasama rin na, kasi ako po ay produkto ng University of Makati rin po. So, sana makakita rin po kami ng ating mga magagaling na mga estudyante from UMAC. So aside from that, Shan Jaime, good afternoon to PixPro from Aurora Chapter. Okay, John Patrick Serrano, good afternoon po from Ascot, Baler. Joris Ventura Condat, magandang hapon po. Mga kapiks po, don't forget to put your location po para alam po natin kung saan nakakarating ang ating broadcast ngayon at makita naman po natin kung gaano ka-appreciated ang cybersecurity, of course, saan mang panig tayo ng mundo. Magandang hapon. Good PM po, Kapix Pro from Ascot, Baler, Aurora, from Daniel, Austria, Betriolo. Good afternoon, Rhea May Marsan Cayetano. Yes, from Aurora Chapter Press. Sherwin. Doc Perez, isa sa mga masusugid nating manonood. Good afternoon po. From Damam. Okay, si Sir, ito ay isa sa mga ano natin to eh. loyal viewers and very passionate about cybersecurity, Sir Junard Bardago Viajante. Okay, VP Frenzy San Diego from NCR chapter is also watching with us. Clifford B. Yuson, good afternoon po from Ascot Baler. Okay, Realty Biangalen Diano, hello po from Ascot Baler. Okay, Lorely Calbengan Tuyan, good afternoon po mga Kapix Pro. Good afternoon Kapix Pro. And Ray Mark Bautista, okay, from La Union chapter ito. Good afternoon mga Kapix Pro from Dimsu MLUC. Okay, Tibo, Heart, hinahitsay tayo. So magandang hapon. And we have Jekyll Hyde from Bacolod Chapter, one of our graduates of the CCSPP Batch 2. Magandang hapon. Rainy afternoon, maulan pa lang ngayon sa Bacolod. So, ingat-ingat po tayo. Christian Joseph Marigmen, good afternoon po. John S. Marsan from the Air Cavalier Villamor Air Base. So, ang ating magigiting ng mga susundaluhan, ang ating Air Force in Villamor, magandang hapon sa inyo. Good afternoon din kay Summerly Pacalso from Pixpro Aurora Chapter. Okay, ang dami na agad. 54 na po tayo and growing. Okay, we have Ronel Valenzuela. Good afternoon po. Marchem Bernabe. Jello Martinez from Ascot. Hazel Grace Cabico. Okay. Ang mga estudyante niyo po ba, Miss Cecil, na-imbitahan din rin po ba, na manood?
Yes. Hindi ko lang alam bakit wala pa sila. Ano ba ganun? I asked them to
Maaga pa
join
naman
the
po.
Pro. Pero sabi ko naman sa kanila, if in case, say meron silang activity or class, sabi ko hanggang tomorrow naman yung yung processing nung, I mean, yung pag-show ng video at the same time for them to catch on being certified for attending. But I know they will be attending. Meron na nga nag-log in kanina. Then some are also messaging me kasi nga tinanggal ko yung yung Zoom link. I thought it will be
Okay.
open kasi.
Yes. Di bali po, darating din tayo sa point na talagang ang kwentuhang cybersecurity is mas lalawig pa and it would entertain more of our students especially. So, balik
Yes.
po tayo, okay? Kay Alexander Bersaga, good afternoon ka Pixpro. Good afternoon kay Clarice Gutierrez, kay Pierre. Yung mga names po natin ng parang akin pong na sa salvage, pasensya na. Sa sobrang cybersecure ng inyong mga names, hindi po natin mabasa. Espinosa Ace, magandang hapon from Ascot Baler. Mary Chris, magandang hapon din sa'yo. Josh Fernal. Okay. Marinel Belong, watching from Shoal of Aurora State College of Technology, again from Ascot. John Paulo, parang full force din tayo sa sa Villamora. This is very good po. We hope we get to work with you soon in our advocacy. Georgie May Julian from Ascot Baler. Good afternoon, Ma'am Cecil and Kapixpo from Cabanatuan City, Julius Chua.
Hi, good
Okay.
afternoon.
Good afternoon po. Tibo from Cabadbaran City. Oh, meron na. Good afternoon po, Kapixpo from University of Makati, Chris James Arias. I think estudyante niyo to.
Oo, student ko siya ngayon. Hi, Chris.
Madeline Bertudes, yes po. Bertudes Bailon from Ascot, magandang hapon. And we have, ang dami, sobra. Good afternoon po from UMAC, Sandra De Jesus. Okay. Good afternoon, mga Kapix Pro. Friday habit na raw niya ang Casey. Of course, sino bang hindi mawawala? Si Sir Christopherson Dizon Lagwatan. Hi, Sir Tops. We look forward to seeing you again in our session here. Good afternoon po, watching from Global Elite Institute of Technology, Makati. Wow. Okay, hello Kapix Pro from Sir Ben Isra A. Dacudao. So, BP Ruby Dagli is watching. BP Ruby, join ka na po. Na-miss ka po namin dito sa KC. Actually, it's been a while for me na mag-host kasi very active ang mga chapters natin. So, most of the time, you will see them doing the KC and we're really proud of them kasi ibig sabihin lamang po nito ang cybersecurity hindi lamang nalilimit sa industry because every sector in the society, be it on the academe, and ang vision nga po sana namin, even the community itself, we would be able to feature here sa ating kwentuhang cybersecurity. So hindi lamang po ito pang technical, pang industriya, ang cybersecurity po is everybody's business. So isa pong manifestation nito, of course, is yung presensya rin po ng ating mga subject matter experts na cybersecurity advocates, kagaya nga po ni Ms. Cecil dito na kasama natin ngayon. So, tingnan po natin, ang dami. Adrian Lawrence Canonce, good afternoon po, former student po ni Ms. Cecil, alumni po ng UMAC. So, hello. Of course, from our chairman, magandang hapon po, Ma'am Cecilia Tadeo. Thank you, coming from our chairman. So, on behalf po of PICS Pro, maraming salamat po. Yes po. Kasi alam namin, busy-busy kayo. And before I forget to all the teachers out there,
Yeah.
especially to you, Miss Cecil, at sa akin pong mga kapwa kaguro, maligayang araw, pambansang buwan ng mga guro po, saan man po sulok kayo ng mundo. So ang ating pong profesyon ay isang, ito po ay calling, and it proceeds beyond the classroom. Gayun nga po, si Ma'am Cecil ay hindi magtuturo, but rather she will enlighten us outside the classroom, but rather in the virtual environment that we have right now during our kwentuhang cybersecurity. So mabuhay po kayo. Kamusta pala ang National Teachers Month celebration niyo, Ma'am Cecil?
Yesterday we did celebrate it at the university. We
Mm.
were treated by way of providing what you call this anti-depression seminar, parang gano'n. And then in the afternoon there is a program which is initiated by our student government to
Mm.
provide, a glimpse of happiness.
Ang inaantay namin yung cybersecurity collaboration natin, Miss Cecil, and hopefully we can start that
Hopefully, yes.
even though patapos na ang ating taon, it's never too late naman for us to be able to
Hopefully,
kickstart.
yes, hopefully before the end of the semester, we will work on that. Follow up natin.
Yes, in time rin po with the Cybersecurity Awareness Month this October, hopefully magawa po natin, ma-fast track din po natin yan. And it's already 5:09 in my clock. I guess I wouldn't get so much of your airtime po, Ma'am Cecil. So ladies and gentlemen, mga ka-PICS Pro, it is an honor and a pleasure on my part being a proud alumna of the University of Makati, of course, and a fellow cyber advocate, of course, coming from the roots of our SUC to present to you, of course, our guest speaker, our resource person for today's Kwentuhang Cybersecurity, no less than Dr. Cecilia Tadeo. So, ma'am, officially, magandang hapon po and welcome to Kwentuhang Cybersecurity.
Thank you, Ms. Arlene. Let me share my screen now. Okay.
Naka-presenter pa po siya, ma'am. Hindi pa po siya naka-full view. Thank you po.
Okay. Test mic. I just like to know if you can hear me and see my presentation clearly.
Okay na po, ma'am.
Okay po. So, magandang hapon ulit sa lahat. First and foremost, again, I'd like to extend my gratitude to PICS Pro for the opportunity to talk in Kwentuhang Cybersecurity. So, for this afternoon's talk, I'll be discussing about the reputation blueprint, building a strong digital foundation. So basically, all of us are protecting our reputation, right? So let us discuss more on how are we going to do it in the digital platform. So for today's agenda, we will be discussing what is online reputation, the importance of online reputation, the cycles of reputation, online management, and effective online reputation management. Okay. So there are two types of reputation. The one is offline, the other one is online. So basically, your parents and your relatives perhaps are more familiar with the offline reputation. So this is the reputation that is known by just spreading the news or providing reputation or providing, say, how do they know a person? So say, for example, your mother, your father is known for being masipag, being matulungin, okay? Being someone who can always extend their hands to their neighbors, right? And if you are, say, a graduate of a very important profession like a doctor and a lawyer, basically you have a known reputation in your community. But these days, it's not only about an offline reputation. We have to be aware, we have to be conscious about our online reputation, how others perceive us when we are online. So every post, every picture, everything that we uploaded in our social media platform basically constitute our online reputation. Now, this is the overall perception of a person or a business based on information that we found online. And this also includes reviews and then the ratings of social media posts and online mentions about you or your business. That is why, if you are an organization, it is important that you are aware and you are conscious what people are talking about you online and in the comment section. That's why they normally filter our comments in the comment section. They even manage to monitor the likes, the heart, and all the reactions a user can utilize, no, whenever they see your post. So every time you advertise in social media, they would normally measure ano ba yung importansya nito dun sa mga nakakakita, nakakabasa ng post, ilan ba yung nag-like, ilan ba yung nag-heart, and so on, no? So it's very, very important. Now, just a test. Can you now try Googling yourself and then please tell me what did you see? Anyone from the audience? I don't have the visibility of the comment. Miss Arlene, can you help me out kung may sasagot? So say you Google your name
Sige pa.
in the Google app. What did you see? Do you have a full description of who you are? Like if you're a researcher, if you are a student, or perhaps your Facebook account, can you see it your in your output? May nag-response po ba?
So far, waiting pa lang po.
Oh. Kaya ba ng
Siguro
audience?
ako na lang. Ang
Okay.
nakikita ko kasi sa sarili ko, LinkedIn. Tsaka yung mga sinulat ko.
Okay. So
And
basically,
Facebook, of course.
when you try to Google yourself or make use of any other search platform or search engine, you would see something about you. So, yung presence mo sa different platform is very, very visible sa search. Okay? Now, why is online reputation important? Now, basically, if you are an organization, your online reputation builds consumer trust. Okay, so it is expected that you have a positive reputation that will foster among your potential customers influencing purchasing decision. Because if you are known to be a brand that is trusted by many customers and who are loyal to your product, definitely whenever you make a post pertaining to your products and services, they would always provide you comments and then share experiences as to the utilization of the product. Some will just provide heart or likes, and some will be providing videos, no, on how they use your products well. So it's important. And then this also fosters business growth. So companies with favorable reputation tend to attract more clients and retain existing ones, directly impacting revenue. And not to mention, if you have a good reputation, definitely customers will be loyal to you. They would continue patronizing your products and services And not only them, of course, these customers could have relatives. So kung ilan man sila, they build a network, and somehow uh, this network will also be getting the information from you, from the ones that you shared, making them what, act as if buy the products or promote the products to their relatives and to their friends. And then, of course, why is online reputation important? For crisis prevention. This is proactively managing reputation, which can help mitigate the effects of negative feedback or crisis. Because once your reputation is tarnished, basically it's kind of difficult to bounce back. No, sabi nga, it will take you years to build good reputation, but in a matter of seconds, your good reputation may be destroyed. Online reputation can make or break a potential career or business opportunities and affect customer loyalty, trustworthiness, and overall success. So when people search for your name and company online, they form an opinion based on your content creation, social channels, customer reviews, and more. That is why if your post is something to their liking, basically you can get positive feedback. But if your post is the reverse, of course, there are a lot of bashing and negative remarks and comments coming from your audience, especially kung yung post mo ay naka-public. And then not only do people view the internet as their first source of information, but they also trust that what it tells them, more importantly, they make decision based on what they found. You know for a fact that, say for example, for online shopping, majority now of buyers and consumers, before they buy online, they normally look and read on the feedback section of the product or the store, because by seeing the feedback and the videos while they are opening the products that was delivered to them, you can decide whether the product is really something good, something reliable, something that they really can spend their money on. Otherwise, if the reviews are not good, so it's creating also a lot of impression and a lot of posts to indirectly tell the future consumers not to buy your product. These days, yung mga customers natin is very, very intelligent. Hindi na sila naniniwala sa mga sabi-sabi. They need to find for themselves if that kind of product is really useful, if the information they got from reviews are really reliable, no? Of course, they don't want it to spend hard and earned money on products that is not useful for them. So why do they need to manage the online reputation? So the first one is you want to engage the customers. That's why even if that is a website, there is a portion in the web pages wherein you can contact us, wherein you can communicate directly to your customers what you want to tell them. And of course, active management allows for better engagement with customers, turning negative experiences into positive outcomes. So we have read a lot of comments and what they call this bad experiences of the customer. So if you follow the trail of conversation, basically makikita mo that companies would always try to make up to the customers, and they are asking the customer to contact them directly so that they can explain and they can do something about it. Sabi nga, no, kahit sa contact center industry, basically, if you have disappointed your customer, it's not easy to bounce back from that bad experience. So you have to make it sure that you can provide them the right solution, or you should be able to address what they need in order for them to recover from bad experience. Because, you know, we have to admit it that loyal customers are the one who normally informed you of the bad experience they have. The reason being is that they have been your loyal customers for quite some time. And if that is being the case, so you have to listen to your customers. It may be a window or it may be an opportunity for the organization to make their products and services better. Of course, minsan may natatimingan din, um, first time buyer or purchaser ng products mo, they really have already experienced the bad service. So particularly on airlines, hotel or resort. Kasi yan yung madalas nating nakikita sa mga posts, no? Lalo na kung instead of having an enjoyable weekend, it became a nightmare. And of course, we do not judge the company or the services they provide. Pag tiningnan mo din naman kasi yung trail ng conversation, basically, hindi pa sila umaabot dun sa mga services na yun. No? What happened is that perhaps along the way, they have already encountered not so nice experiences. And then we have to do online management, online reputation management to avoid crisis. So, yung tipong nakita mo pa lang yung post, dapat you will be able to address it kaagad. This is not only true to organization, but this is also true to our personal experiences. Even us would have this kind of experience. Like, say for example, there is one friend who posted bad things about you that could either be true or not so true. But seeing what people are telling about you will enable you to act and react on the post to the point that you stop the escalation. Okay? So, tipong first time mo palang nakita, you do some remediation. Otherwise, hindi lang naman kasi friends mo ang nakakakita ng post, no? It could spread all over the world. So as much as possible, you should try to put down those bad posts against you so that in a way, you can be able to manage your reputation and prevent it from spreading, no? Kung pwede lang. Pero kasi sometimes it may be too late. And then, of course, we need to build credibility. A well-maintained online presence enhances brand credibility. And of course, this is always the direction. This is always the objective of some reliable organizations. So they wanted to build their brand credibility. Now, statistics shows what happened in terms of the online effects to your entire life if you will not manage your reputation. So based on study, 59% of people trust search engine the most when researching a business, according to Edelman Trust Barometer. And about 90% of employers look at potential employee social media profiles, and 79% have rejected a candidate based on what they found, according to Manifest. And basically, this is true, no? Online reputation, particularly of prospective applicants, are normally visited. No, profiles of our applicant normally are the basis for hiring you or disapproving your employment. And sometimes not sometimes, but most of the times, I told my students that as early as now, if you are not yet aware, you try to build a good reputation in your social media page, considering the fact that employers nowadays are following your digital footprints. In fact, in my time, what the employers will tell you once you submit your resume or your CV is to provide there your character references. It's always a must to put in your application form in your resume, who are your character references. And then they will call them one by one and verify and validate if you are really a person to be trusted and other good characteristics that an employer is looking for. But now, when you file for an application, one thing that is unique, no? And usually now, part of the employment process is to share with them your online platform or your online profile, because they're not going to ask for character references anymore. They are now going to look into your social media account and try to check what kind of person you are, right? And even in the last election and the upcoming election, again, their worry is about how are they going to control deep fakes? How are they going to control the proliferation of chatbots and posts that is maligning a candidate? You know, because we know for a fact that during election there would always be a demolition job to somehow dishonor or destroy the candidate, their opponent candidate. And then 87% of consumers read online reviews for local businesses, and they rely on this particularly because they are more confident that people will not lie if the information is already shared online. And then 86% of risk managers and executives believe that reputational risk could result in potentially crippling business outcomes, such as loss of income. And later on in my example, you will see that there are some brands that really lost income because of bad reputation, bad online reputation at that. Okay, so this is an example of good reputation post. This is about Starbucks, who has become a coffee king, and they have really stepped up their customer service in an effort to keep the crown. So in this case, customers were dissatisfied in their beverage experience, elongated waiting time, and other inconvenience. So basically, Starbucks pays their order, no? So alam naman natin yan. Majority of us have experienced queuing to buy Starbucks coffee. And of course, in as much as we are anticipating to taste the products that they have, sometimes waiting in a long queue will make us, feel disappointed, and as if you don't want to drink the coffee anymore because of the experience of being in the queue for a longer time. So basically, they have added more cashiers so that a lot of customers will be accommodated to take the orders, and of course more staff to prepare the orders for you. And this is really something that they have to focus on. Otherwise, if they will not act on it, customers and patrons of Starbucks will really be reduced in time gradually. And then in Nestle, back in 2010, in the midst of going green movement, Nestle was outdated of sourcing palm oil from unethical suppliers. Of course, if there is such kind of news, if you are the consumer, you will now take time and reflect if you will be patronizing the products of Nestle. You know, you go to the supermarket and you will find out that there are a lot of Nestle products, and majority of it make use of palm oil. And the magic word unethical suppliers will give you a red flag not to patronize Nestle product. So instead of Nestle addressing these concerns, they went to their social media and delete the comments. Pwede ba yun? Yes, pwede yun. You can delete the comments in your post. And that's basically what they did to answer this particular reputation concern. No? Hindi rin sila nagpaliwanag about this one. And in in the case of United Airlines, this was in 2017. There was a video of United Airlines security personnel who is violently dragging a passenger. Now, this particular incident was captured in a video, and it went viral. So generating over 1 million views a day on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and in the immediate aftermath. So what is the effect? Now, their stocks quickly lose more than 1 billion in market value. So this is not peso, guys. This is US dollars. And it really will provide a dent in your revenue if this is the amount that was lost in terms of this bad publicity for them. And of course, I have this seen in one of the FB page recently. So it was captured from Facebook. We all know that we are cheering and would like to congratulate our hero for winning 2 gold medals in the Olympics. But somehow there are a lot of talks about him. And the after effect of this talk about not being a good son has brought him this effect. No? So before he was one of the best ambassador of Milo because of his beginnings. So great things starts from small beginnings. And if that is the word from Milo, that they keep on believing until this day. And after what happened to him and to his parents, basically Milo has decided to change the ambassador. I think it was EJ Obiena who now is the ambassador of family because of the kind of reputation EJ has posed during the competition and after the competition, which is really admirable. And so he's now the Milo ambassador. So see what reputation can do to you in terms of this kind of opportunity that was lost to him. No? Anyway, kahit marami siyang pera na napanalunan, the thing is, this one really is something that he has to think about. And if he's not going to manage the way how information are shared online, most likely we will never be surprised if this will be there will be continuing turning backs from his supporters and his followers. Oh, ayaw mo na. What happened? Okay. Now, in terms of online reputation, there are 2 cycles. Okay. So we have the vicious cycle, and the other one is the. Now, with regards to vicious cycle, I hope you are not going to ignore your online reputation and your risk falling victim to a vicious cycle of misinformations and rumors. So in the cycle, you would see how bad information are spread. It will start from poor quality, outdated, misleading, and malicious contents, which ranks highly online. So in the Philippines and in other countries perhaps, no, pero focusing on the Philippines, you normally search on the controversial information, right? Yun kagad ang hinahanap natin. Like yung case ni Carlos Yulo, yung case ng mga talk about senates, yung mga politicos natin. And of course, if there are some information about our favorite artists, right? We normally look and search for it in the internet. And then people naturally click on results that seem shocking or scandalous. Now, the search engine see that users like these links and continue to promote them. So yung mga SEOs natin, basically, nandun kasi yung pera. No? We know for a fact that every click that we have, particularly if that particular post is a monetized post, it will earn them a lot of money. That is why somehow, whenever you search for it, they are always on the top search. And then the fourth phase of the cycle is that social media amplifies the reach and effect of reputation harming items. And the fifth one is to follow up contents commentary online gossip create more links and traffic that validates the negative material. That is why if there are announcements, anong nilalagay natin, di ba? You normally put there up so that a lot of people can read the post. And that is the vicious cycle. So the other cycle is the virtuous cycle. And hopefully, this is the manner how are we going to post information on the internet. With regards to the cycle, the first phase begins with providing good quality, current, accurate, balanced contents that ranks highly online. So if that is factual, if that is true, and then you use words to describe it well, normally could qualify for a virtuous cycle. So the second phase is that people naturally clicks on results that seem likely to provide the information they were looking for. And the third one, search engines that users like this informative links and continue to promote this one. So just like if I'm not mistaken, we normally receive good thoughts, morning thoughts to brighten up your day, right? So good thoughts, if the person who read it is satisfied and thinks that his mood is uplifted once they read that particular passage, what they do is that they share it because they wanted to infect the positive vibes to other people. So, para maging ano siya, para siyang virus na manghawa ka ng good thoughts at saka good feeds for other people. Minsan nasa my day nila yan. O kaya yung mga songs that inspires them, we normally post it. And then the fourth phase is that social media amplifies the reach and effect of engaging high quality items. So the moment you do that, they will begin to feed you with somewhat the same article or somewhat the same post that could highly inspire people. And then again, you will share it. So meron na naman. So cycle talaga siya. And then the fifth phase is follow-up content, media coverage, and positive new developments create more links and traffic that validate the positive materials. So hopefully, in your personal post, and if you are, say, engaged in your organization, that we follow this virtuous cycle so that we can slowly build the online reputation and the digital footprints of your organization and, of course, you personally. Questions or clarifications? Any questions or clarifications from the audience?
I think ano po, after the discussion, we will open the floor for the questions, Ms. Cecil.
Okay. So what is now online reputation management or ORM? Now, this is the process of monitoring, managing, and maintaining an individual's or organization's online presence to ensure that your reputation is maintained and protected. So even us, if we own our social media account, from time to time, we have to be conscious as to what people are commenting on our posts. Okay, so in that way, you monitor and then you manage and you maintain your online presence. And then it involves tracking online conversation, reviews, mentions about a person or organization, and taking proactive steps to address any negative or inaccurate information that may be damaging to their reputation. Naalala ko lang, just recently we had our graduation at PICC. And of course, one of our graduate, I think that is Governor EJ Falcon, is what was able to post his achievement in the social media platform. And I cannot help but to correct the impression that post is building. Kasi yung nakalagay dun sa post is to the effect that, wow, nakagraduate na siya, nakuha niya na yung diploma niya, tapos meron pa siyang TOR. Parang, in a way, is telling the readers na, uy, ang bilis naman, parang iba yung ini-insinuate nung message, no? And I reacted and I told them that is the innovation that we have in the university, which is true. That before the graduation day will come, our registrar will now, you know, manage all of the, they will now manage all the requisites of, you know, completing their TOR and their diploma requirements, so that by the time they will graduate and they have already accomplished all those documents as requisite for receiving the diploma, that our graduates will no longer need to wait for a very long time to apply on it. But rather, they will get it as soon as they graduate, they will receive their diploma, right? And their TOR. And they were happy about it. Kasi pagkatas mong gumraduate, you can now apply for a job. Kasi sa ibang school, it will take time for them to get the credentials. And of course, organizations are really after to verifying and validating the credentials before they will be accepted for employment. And so, they were happy to know that, oh, ganun na pala sa university, kaya na palang i-process. So, ngayon, let us try to focus on if and when your social media account is attacked, what are you going to do? Okay. So I'd like to share to you the cycle. This is basically proposed by Attorney Antonio Jimeno, right? And who is also one of the cyber security specialists, right? About the effective online reputation management cycle. The cycle is composed of the URL triangulation technique. The second one is to dominate the search engine results, or SERPs. The third phase, or the third step, is trace and identify. The fourth one is takedown services. And the fifth one is PNP NBI, Anti-Cybercrime Group, which is basically our law enforcement authorities. No? So how do we do this online reputation management cycle? So the first one is to conduct proper documentation for potential court litigation. So if the post in your social media account is defamatory, of course, you have to take action, right? And the first one is for you to conduct a URL triangulation technique. So what is that URL triangulation technique? So the first one is that you have to verify who did that to you. Sino yung nag-post? Kilala mo ba siya? Right? And if that is, say, just a URL, one technique is for you to look in the Whois domain tool to identify who is the owner of the IP address. And then once you validate the origin of that post by identifying the IP address, then you can make use of the free URL rule. In the past, I had a personal experience with that, no? And this rule is not yet implemented, or it's not being used. What we did is that we went to NBI, report the instance, and ask them if they can help us to know who is the person who did this to us, kasi defamatory talaga yung post. But sad to say, during that time, that was about 2016? O siguro 2016 yung year na yun. NBI cannot help us because according to them, we can only send Facebook a request if there is already some sort of a court order. So that time, hindi pa talaga siya pwedeng sulatan kung walang subpoena, walang court order, para ma-force si Facebook para i-take down yung post. Kasi that's the thing that we wanted to do, to take down the post. So now, I will teach you how. Kasi it may happen to you, it may happen to your relatives, it may happen to a friend. And of course, pag nakita mo na defamatory yung mga post, kung mga mga malaswang video yan, o kaya malaswang mga pictures, and then there are also defamatory words posted on your wall. Of course, you wanted to prevent the escalation or the spread of the post, right? So what are you going to do? You need to document it. That's where we are going to apply the 3 URL rule. So how do we do that? Okay, so before that pala, sorry. Ito yung yung page ng Whois where you can find out what is the IP address of the person who did you some bullying, no? So, pwedeng nandito yan. I-click mo lang yung who that is. Hanapin mo siya sa Google. You will be led to this page. And then you type the URL address that you will find on your screen. So, i-paste mo lang siya dito. So, in this example, I make use of the umac.edu.ph. So, you will be led to a lot of information about UMAC. Okay, so yet wag yung kalimutan yan. That is the Whois. And the IP address also can be revealed in this website. Sino yung owner ng IP address na yun? Because, you cannot deny the owner of a device if you make use of the IP address and also the MAC address of that. Kasi yung MAC address, yun ang pinaka ID ng device mo, whether that is an Android or whether that is your laptop or computer, there would always be a MAC address. Now, the IP address is the address that is assigned to your device by your ISP. So, the more that you cannot deny it if that IP address is granted to you. The next thing is for you to be able to file a criminal complaint, you make use of the 3 URL rule, meaning you have to examine the URL of the post. And then you can now determine if that particular post really belongs to the person whom you know, or otherwise, if they are not the same, it may be that the person's profile or Facebook account is being a victim of identity theft as well. So, paano natin gagawin yan? Teka lang. Punta tayo sa step 3, no? Kung paano natin gagawin. So, sa step 3, basically, to be able to trace and identify the culprit, tumalon na kagad si ma'am. You have to first check the date and the time at the bottom of your PC or laptop. And then you right-click the tab and capture the libelous post. And then capture the defamatory post as well. And you get the URL of the person and get the URL of the accused. So tatlo yan, kaya 3 URL rule. So this is an example. So, say this is the defamatory post. Kunwari lang klasa, pero hindi defamatory yung post na yan. So, you are on your Facebook account. What you do now is to capture this particular information, which is the date and time. Okay? So, you need to take a picture of this and then have a screen capture or screenshot of this particular post. Now, this is to prove as to that this particular post was there on this date and time. Kasi we know for a fact that if you are the owner of the post, especially kung na-apprehend ka na may ginagawa ka ng legal action about what that person did, of course, they are going to voluntarily put down the post. Pero it may be too late because it has already spread somewhere out there. And then the next step is to go to the URL of the one who posted dun sa kanyang Facebook page mismo and try to compare if the owner of the post is the same with the ones in your Facebook account. And of course, again, you capture the date and time. So yun yung sinasabi ko na if this particular name is not the ones who posted defamatory information about you, it may be that the person is also a victim of identity theft, which normally happen kung naging victim din siya ng phishing. Okay? Alam naman natin yan, no? That there are some attackers who will do some phishing attack, and then what they do is that they are going to create your account, recreate the account of the person whom you know, and then they will be inviting you to become their friends. Then eventually, magsasend sa'yo ng information, tapos uutangan ka. Okay? And of course, some of them will do some defamatory posts against you, no? Lalo na kung hindi nila nakuha yung gusto nila. And then, we need to compare. So it's not enough po na you just take the picture. For this to be able to stand in court, you have to screenshot it and write the description about the events that transpire. Okay? Because you are now going to tell the judge or tell your lawyer that this is what happened, and you have to explicitly provide details that will be sourced to prove that this particular incident happened. Kasi pag nabura na to na hindi mo siya na-capture, pwede na nilang sabihin na nagsisinungaling ka, right? So, the second thing na pwede mong gawin, sorry, nag-jump na si ma'am dun sa third. Yung second thing na pwede mong gawin is to look into your Google search engine result pages. So you try to identify the title of or the description of the post and try to check and see if that is searchable in your Google search engine result pages. So ano naman yung pwedeng gawin, no? Ang classic example dito, basically, yung mga bad posts, defamatory posts sa mga politicians. So what you can do is that if you found a lot of such kind of posts, what you can do is to create a lot of videos with that search engine, pero papalitan mo na ng content. Hindi na siya defamatory, but rather, your content would be something nice. So kahit mag-level up siya dun sa defamatory title or attributes na yan, pag tiningnan mo yung content is saying good news about the candidate. Sabi nga nila, pagka dating ng eleksyon, napakagandang offer to para sa mga kandidato daw, na tatanggalin mo lahat yung bad post. Kasi what you will do now is to create videos. So kailangan dito, meron kang team of experts who can create you videos and upload it. So hindi pwedeng isa o dalawa, it should be more para matakpan niya yung mga bad posts. So eventually, the next thing to do now is the fourth one, which is to request for takedown services. So we have to know the fact that there are venues of attacks, which could either be Google search engine, the YouTube, and the crawling spider index. So with regards to the venue of online attacks, that includes your Facebook page, your Facebook pages, your Facebook groups, Instagram, the blog sites, the porn sites, and that of the Google search. Now, with regards to takedown services, there are also experts who can do that, no? And basically, this is covered by the Digital Millennium Copyright Act or DMCA that will do takedown services. Kasi hindi rin murang magpa-takedown. Or perhaps you can ask your lawyer to write the owner of the social media platform, say for example, Meta or Google or Instagram, to justify why that post needs to be removed. Pero there are some caution there. While this thing can happen, not all the posts might be removed, especially if there are information in the post that are factual. So somehow, lumalagay din sa gitna yung owner ng social media platform. So it is important to consider takedown services as part of broader reputation management strategy, balancing the need to protect one's reputation with ethical consideration and respect for free speech. Doon naman bumabalanse ang takedown reputation organization, no, or yung DMCA. Kasi they need to balance. And then these are the online reputation tools, attack tools that can be used by by these attackers, like photo editing, video editing, face swapping. In the recent months, there are a lot of face swapping apps, and then fake social media accounts and social media sites that allow proliferation of fake news. And of course, the fifth step is that once you identified and once you have documented everything, you need now to report to the law enforcement agencies. In this case, it could either be the Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group or the NBI Anti-Cybercrime Group. You just need to choose one. Kung NBI yan, then you go to NBI. Kung PNP yung choice nyo, and then you go to PNP. And make sure that you bring with you proper documentation to serve as proof or evidence. And just an addition to this, no, I'd like everyone to be aware of the Republic Act of 10175, which is the Cybercrime Prevention Act, where libelous posts are covered. So the purpose of the act is that it focuses on the preemption, prevention, and prosecution of cyber crimes, such as offenses against the privacy, confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data and systems, computer-related offenses, and content-related offenses. So, dati noon, para manira ng kapwa, kailangan si Marites. Pero kung yung information ni Marites, nilagay na natin online, it's a different thing. It is now covered under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Mahaba yan. So I just gave you a gist of what is this Cybercrime Prevention Act is all about. But you can see what are the coverage of this law, particularly on what was violated in terms of your confidentiality, integrity, your privacy, and the availability of information. So these are my references, and that's all. So you can now have our Q&A. Thank you po.
Okay, papa-stop share na lang po tayo, Ma'am Cecil. Okay. So, medyo ang ganda ng usapan. Alas 6 na po tayo. Pero siguro in a nutshell na lang po.
Wait lang, Miss
Pa-stop share na lang
Eileen.
po.
Mahina siya.
Okay.
I think
Sige
I
po.
have to leave.
Sige po.
Kasi,
While doing that po, meron lang po tayong i-entertain na one question coming from the audience. Admissible daw po ba ang mga screenshots as part of our evidence kapag tayo ay nag-file ng complaint as regards to cybercrime, particularly of course yung tinatawag nating defamation case para po doon sa nagsispread ng malicious content about us.
okay, we're good. Someone called, kaya yung audio niya medyo nagkaroon ng problema. I'm good now. You
Okay
can
pa.
now ask question po.
Ulitin ko na lang po. Ma'am Cecil, we have siguro unfortunately because of the time that we have two questions na lang po. So yung unang question po would be the admissible daw po ba sa court, or if I'm going to file a case, yung mga screenshots ng post na defamatory, para ako po ay makapag-push through sa aking complaint laban sa isang taong naninira po sa aking maninirang puri laban sa akin po.
Yes, that's the reason why I wanted this to push through, because we are not informed what to do, no? So yung free URL rule is very effective to be to stand as evidence in court for as long as you gather the necessary information and you put description as to the details what this post is all about. Pwede po, it can stand in court. And of
Hindi po
course,
ba
you can
stop share,
consult.
ma'am, yung ano?
Okay, you need to
Apa.
consult your lawyer as well as to the procedure. But basically, that will stand in court. Kaya kailangan mo pong ma-screen capture yung evidence, because sabi ko nga kanina, di ba? Because sometimes if they already knew that you are about to take legal action on the matter, they are now going to put down the post. Para sabihin, hindi naman ako nag-post niyan eh. So, yun nga iba, di ba yung Facebook page, magsa-selfie yan, may kasamang newspaper na ito talaga yung post mo on this date and time para hindi mo mapasubalian na yung post na yan really take place.
Sige po. Ito po, another one. I think magja-jump ako before I push through with Sir Patrick Sulit's question. So, ang tanong niya is, may prescriptive period po ba ang pagpa-file ng cyber libel? So, what if yung post niya ay ginawa about a few months, a few years ago kasi hindi ko siya nakita. Ngayon ko lang nalaman na may ganon. So, may period po ba yon?
Hindi kita masagot dyan kasi hindi ko inaral yung batas. Pero kasi sa pagkakatanda ko, parang within 30 days, 30 days kailangan i-file mo siya. Kung tama yung aking memory Pero kung hindi tama yung memory ko, puntahan mo yung Cybercrime Act na 2012. Nandoon lahat, pati prescription. Nandun yung
Okay po.
details.
And siguro as long as posted pa talaga siya at na-capture eh. Kumbaga, that would suffice as evidence enough for us to push through with the case. And
Yes,
siguro
yes.
ito na lang, last na lang po natin. Kasi kanina, you were able to showcase us a particular website where we can check the MAC address. Paano daw po if paano natin masisigurado na yung MAC address na ginamit is real or fake? Because sa panahon ngayon, walang imposible.
Yeah, I will agree on that. No? Actually, hindi yung MAC address yung pwedeng ma-fake, yung IP address. Kasi yung MAC address, hindi natin pwedeng ma-fake yun dahil that is the address of the device that you use. Pero yung IP address, pwede kasing mapalitan yon lalo na kung magmamasking yung gumagamit. But again, it depends on the talent of your cybersecurity expert to be able to track kung nasan yung IP address na yon. Because you can also track the exact location of the IP addresses. Yun nga lang kasi, if merong cover up, katulad ng mga nangyayari na mga phishing attack, di ba? Makikita mo that the call is coming from US, pero pag tinrack mo yung IP address, it's in Nigeria. Meron kasing app wherein you just need to type there the IP address and then you will be able to locate now the exact location of the device used to conduct that particular activity. So doon papasok
Okay.
ngayon ang ating kagalingan sa cybersecurity
Mhm.
na
Correct.
of course that is kind of technical and it will require technical training for us to trace back the source of the information, particularly if that is already covering the IP address. Yung in-share ko lang kanina is basically yung basic kasi kung students yan or personal yung attack, normally social media platform yung ginagamit. So madali mo siyang ma-identify. Pero kung wala siyang identity, you get the IP address, yung who is, and then you make use of other tools pa para ma-determine mo yung root nung yung root nung IP address na yan kung may cover up ba or may ginamit lang siyang dummy location. Kasi pwede yun eh. Location mo, kunwari palabasin mong nasa US ka, pero ang totoo, the one who did the attack is, say, in Manila. That's possible.
Yes.
So,
So
so it will be
basically,
a
kulang,
different training.
kulang na kulang talaga ang ating oras. Siguro we'll do a part 2 mga Kapix Pro together with, of course, Ma'am Cecil. And hopefully, the Yuma community would also join us in our next Kwentuhang Cybersecurity. So maraming salamat po, Ma'am Cecil, for gracing
Thank
our Kwentuhang
you.
Cybersecurity session for this afternoon. And mga Kapix Pro, siguro for our parting message, although technology has its pros in making our lives better. One thing na nakakalimutan kasi natin is the character. So we keep on talking about online reputation. So syempre meron tayong ina-uphold na digital identity. Pero minsan nakakalimutan natin kung ano yung ating character as a person, both as a commenter and as someone na nagpo-post po online. So what we need to do is become responsible and we must always keep on reminding ourselves to to practice critical thinking skills. Actually, it is a no-brainer po if nakakasakit o hindi nakakasakit ang ating pinopost. Maging mindful po tayo kasi kahit po gaano kabilis ang communication din natin, ganun din po kabilis ang damages na nagagawa natin, lalo na po sa reputasyon ng isang tao na wala naman pong ginawang masama laban sa atin. So with that, always be mindful of what we put online because the internet is perpetual. Maraming salamat mga Kapex Pro. Muli maraming salamat Ma'am Cecil Tadeo. Samahan niyo ako Ma'am Cecil. Okay? So it's Friday once again. Sa iba nagpapahinga na over the weekend pero sa ating mga nasa cybersecurity, lalo na sa ating mga Kapex Pro dyan na patuloy na nakikipaglaban sa disinformation at sa ating mga cybercrimes. Samahan niyo ako Ma'am. Happy lang walang weekend. 1, 2, 3. Happy
Happy
lang,
lang, walang
walang
weekend.
weekend. Maraming mga salamat
Thank
mga
you.
Kapix Bro. Of course, maraming salamat Ma'am Cecil at
The
magkita-kita po tayo
pleasure is
muli sa
mine.
susunod na kwento ng cybersecurity. Maligayang araw ng mga guro po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you. Bye.